We're back in person again.
Again?
Again.
Can you believe it?
Twice in a year.
Twice in a month.
Right. Produce Reporter Week in Review coming to you live, well, on site, on location from the SouthWest International Produce Expo in Tucson. We got booth setup going on because the reception's out there, and we thought we would, give you a little preview and save you from the noise that's going on.
And also, Tucson is damn cold.
Right. I brought my sweater. It's sweater weather out
Yeah, I'm
there.
gonna go back and get a jacket before I go out to that outdoor reception.
I did not expect that. But winter is here, but that's okay because we'll be in here all day tomorrow for some education sessions. Come on in. You're okay. We don't mind. Allison's doing some final. Some finals. You golf today?
I did get to golf. It was cold, but it's still Tucson. It's beautiful, and you're working at the golf course, so not too bad. You are going to moderate a panel tomorrow. What are we going to hear about?
We are talking about demographics and differentiation and how retailers are, number one, figuring out who their customer is, because it's okay. When I started in this business, here's my gripe. 20 years ago, the number of times that I heard from someone that I was interviewing about who's your customer, what are you trying to do, they would say the housewife. And it was the housewife with 2.2 kids and, doing the weekly shopping and knowing the price of bananas, if you know what I mean. That's not our shopper anymore, not even close. So we're gonna talk to some retailers about what they do to identify who their shoppers are, differentiate their stores, and work with the supplier community on when is it time to get into something new, and when is it time to, blow up your wet rack and put something that you've never had in there before. Should be fun.
They're going to talk about seasonal and local, I assume.
Seasonal, local, but also changing demographics. Like, I'm going to use an example of my neighborhood. HEB used to have 20 feet of carrots, and now 5 feet of that is Indian wet veg. So, yeah.
That makes sense. You got to know who's shopping there.
Yep, for sure. So we will have that going on tomorrow. But what's going on back at the office? We got a few things.
We've had news this week. I think I did want to talk about IFPA. They let us know early in the week that they are having a supply chain of a future meeting that is going to be in Las Vegas in early December, and they're inviting everyone in the supply chain, and it sounds like it's going to be a very collaborative event where they're talking about eliminating inefficiencies of the supply chain and really communicating with partners up and down the supply chain. And I mean, one of the things we learned during the pandemic is how critical the supply chain is and how incredibly flexible it was. But there's still so much inefficiency, and with the new FSMA 204 rule going into effect at the beginning of 26, the supply chain really has to be on the same page, follow federal law, and get the inefficiencies out of it. And a lot of that is having standardization of traceability, so I'm sure that would be a big part of it. But I think it sounds like a very interesting meeting and valuable to people across the supply chain, and I'm sure we will hear more about it because early December is really not that far away, 4 weeks.
Right, yeah. So we will be watching for more on that, and hopefully we can follow up with IFPA about what exactly this entails and what we're gonna walk away from it with. What else do we got? We also have a series that we're running from Produce Blueprints, which is really, I think, timely as well, about fraud and how to onboard new customers. Our Vice President of Ratings, Bill Zentner, wrote this for us, and he's got some really good tips on what you need to do to make sure that your new customer is, number one, real, and number two, gonna follow your policies and procedures, and how can you do this the most efficient way. So it's a pretty good read. You should check it out.
Yeah, the Friday edition of it has a lot of specific steps on things you can do, and so I think people should definitely check that out. And we also have a fraud alert that is coming from Bill's team and has an example of what an East Coast shipper has dealt with in the past couple weeks, and we have some examples of what that looks like and how to prevent yourself from falling into that trap.
All right, well, we'll look forward to it. We're going to cut it off short this week because we've got a reception waiting for us. So that's it for the Produce Reporter Week in Review. If you are not getting the Produce Reporter newsletter, you need to go to producebluebook.com and sign up.